Hello everybody, this is Ronar, and welcome back to another episode of Beyond Legendary. Today we've got a slightly different mission than what we're used to doing right now. So for the past few episodes we've been doing these simple 7 to 9 enemy 5-man missions. Right now we've got a 6-man mission with 10 to 12 enemies on it. So a few more enemies and a few more XCOMs. This should be quite interesting. We do not start off with concealment on this team, however we do have a shinobi with us. Our shinobi will at the very least be able to lead the squad. So let's begin. Now I brought a 6-man squad because sometimes on these supply raid missions, or the, not supply raid, smash and grab missions, you can get 6 crates here and each person can only carry 1. Unfortunately here we've only got 5 crates, so not much we can do about that though. Let's get our squad moving up here. Try to cover as much distance as possible. First enemy right up there is going to be a turret, actually. Very interesting. If we could take out that turret, that would be nice. And I think we actually can take care of that turret, actually. We've got a Fusilier over here. We're going to allow this Fusilier to just mark that turret off, and we should be able to knock that out next round. Everybody else can just start moving forward a little bit. Maybe get our sniper in a good spot.
Let me free.
We've got a couple more backline units than usual. Normally I run a lot of aggressive frontline type units for these types of missions, but not this time around though.
Stepping off.
I'm gonna try and make use of all of these guys here. Oh, and I almost forgot, soldier introduction, so you guys know what's going on here. Well, we got some enemies up ahead, though. Let's get ready to take care of these guys.
Whoa, wait up!
Alright, so, for introductions, we have our Fusilier over here. This is the guy that can mark and get guaranteed shots, as you guys can see right here. This guy has a guaranteed critical hit against that turret. That turret should go down from that shot, actually. We can also continue marking more stuff. Something that I probably didn't explain very clearly about the Fusilier class is that the mark that they use, this lasts for 8 turns, so you can take the time to like just mark multiple enemies before the fight even begins. That way you can secure kills on multiple enemies. Now, we could use Basti, so this is Basti, our Geneva class, in charge of things like toxic shrapnel rockets, as well as poison, burn, flamethrower thingies. We got our arsonist over here. This person's just in charge of regular flamethrowers, but they come with the ability called Viscous Accelerant, which buffs other damage over time users, such as Basti over here. So these two make kind of a potent combo together. And then finally we got Vivaz over here. This is going to be our long distance running shotgunner, I think. And you also have both barrels for sawed-off shotgun action. And then finally, of course, our shinobi up here. Scout, swords. What more is there to say? Now, I think when it comes to this turn, what we'll do is we'll start off by leading the target against that drone, so we can hopefully kill that thing. Or maybe I lead the target against the sorcerer. I don't actually know what the better choice is. Maybe it is better to lead the target against the sorcerer. I do want this guy dead. Advent sorcerers can be kind of scary. They're able to cast Insanity, as well as use a Brain Freeze ability and like shoot all in one turn. They can do a lot of actions all at once. They're very, very scary to deal with. I'm gonna take this time to run our shinobi back a little bit further. And you know what? We could actually take this opportunity to just take care of that turret, actually. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take care of that turret. We don't have concealment anyways to begin with, so you might as well just take this opportunity to kill some stuff off. Sorry about that. Need to clear my throat a bit. Maybe I should drink some water. Alright then. Now we know that there's enemies up there. I just don't want to activate them, but I'm pretty certain I can take this one little step forward and that should be safe.
Let's go. I see.
It is
There we
clear.
go. We can actually get into cover with these guys now that the turret is out of the way.
Show me your
I was going to use the
power now.
Fusilier to mark another guy, but I feel like it's better for us to just kind of do this instead. Here comes that guy. You have to lead the target. That guy is gonna get dropped instantly right there. And all that's left is a phase drone that our squad can handle, hopefully pretty easily. Now these two are carrying auto sniper rifles, which means they need to reload after every single shot, but they do a lot more damage because of that. We got a bit of a problem here. This drone is actually kind of hard for this team to kill. Just a little bit tough. 82% only. I should have holo targeted with Rick before I took the... Oh no, I can holo target after reloading. Forgot about that. Alright, let's holo target this thing real quick. Bring that 82% up a little bit higher. 92%. Excellent shot right there.
Eventually, I too will fall.
When you first start playing these types of games, 82 and 92 don't really sound very different, but you gotta change your mindset about that. When you change a number from 82 to 92%, you're basically having the chance of you missing, right? Because originally the chance of missing was 20%, now it's only 10%. So you essentially have the chances of missing. It's actually very important to use holo targeters to ensure those types of things. As you guys have seen from some of our earlier missions, you can easily have a chain of unluck streak, and from experience I'm sure many of you guys will also know that.
I hope it's worth it.
I cannot handle all this work by myself, you know.
Alright, we're gonna take one more round here. We've killed 2 enemies so far.
I see.
Wait, why am I running forward as you first? I have a shinobi in stealth. I love how I just brought a stealth unit on this team and then proceed to not run forward with the stealth person.
Here we go.
Gonna run forward with our frontline troops first. Gonna get them in position so they can be relevant for the upcoming fights. Our snipers won't be able to shoot past these buildings, so I kind of need to find a better spot for them. For now, I'm just going to run them forward. They're going to kind of be in a really poor shooting position, but that's fine. They also need to be close up to the mission objectives to actually grab some crates anyways. Might as well start running them in. The evac zone is going to be far back though, so we do need to kill everything, that way we can run forward and come back. There's no need to like sneak past anything.
Where are we going?
Stay Tasty over here is just going to keep on looking for enemies for us. I'm going to have Stay Tasty look down this side over here, then next round Stay Tasty will check out the back section.
Where are we going?
Still nothing. Interesting. We have not found
I am on my way
around here. I'm gonna shoo these civilians away so we can actually take up these positions here.
Good to go.
I'll just get all of these civilians out of the way.
Move out!
Excellent. And then, seeing as how this spot is fairly safe, I'm gonna post
hurting.
our snipers up here.
Will do.
Kind of feeling this position right now. I think this is going to be a nice spot to just kind of have control over this back alley as well as this front section over here. The next group of enemies will be inside of the building, it seems. Oh, down there, in fact. Oh, they're all down there. Okay, that's a really big group of enemies. Oh, nice, a 5 group. 5 group and 3 group. Oh my goodness, we have so much stuff around us. Alright, I think our team's got their work cut out for them. The sectoid is going to immediately start using psionics right away. This should be the last group of enemies on the map,
What was
I think.
that sorcery?
We managed to avoid the mind control, but we are also taking a bunch of damage here. We've got a couple of shots down here, so we're going to start taking them. First shot on that gunner right down there, he should go down pretty easily. Target destroyed. Alright, one threat removed at least. We've got a couple more shots down here. I do want to take the shots that we have available here, even though I'm not using my track shots. If you can get 100% accurate shots, then that's still worth taking. Beautiful job.
Hostile target down.
Alright, we're clearing out that side quite nicely. I do need to try to get rid of this Advent Torture. He can easily get up to us with like a super cool grappling hook maneuver. We also have the Toxic Shrapnel rockets. We can use this to expose some of the enemies and weaken down these guys. Or I can send it down this way so we can control the left side of the map. I'm honestly not sure what side I would rather control right now. But let's use this.
It is clear.
Let's bring our flamethrower person over here, seeing as how our flamethrower person is probably a bit too far away from that side down there. We should be able to get a nice double hit with this burn here. Unless we missed the 97%. Remember what I was talking about? The lowering failure chances? Well, this is what we were talking about. My shotgunner over here should be able to take care of that trooper. I then just need to worry about the sectoid taking a flank shot against him. I should be able to take care of that sectoid using our slicer here. Okay, yeah, I think that's going to be our play here.
I'll comply.
So we're going to have the Vaz come down to here. We can take the shotgun shot against the trooper, but it's not a guaranteed kill. This both barrels of our sawed-off shotgun. That is a guaranteed kill. So let's take this guaranteed kill right there. Target destroyed.
I must kill them.
Nice work.
Every last one.
Oh, this guy has the same voice line as the Geneva class guy. Alright, do your best to take care of that sectoid.
Time to shine.
Please don't freeze that hit. Beautiful. That's 7% crit chance.
It's over.
Alright, and with that, we got ourselves an Eladium Core. Equal pickups over here. I should be able to control a majority of the enemies down here if I take the time to shoot this toxic shrapnel rocket. Oh my goodness, the camera's just all over the place right now. We're gonna take this toxic shrapnel rocket and try to knock these guys out. I think if I could redo this turn, I would have my snipers focus more on killing the Advent Torturers. Because the Torture is actually kind of a little bit scarier than the other guys. Alright, the war criming is in progress right now. Everything is slowly dying from poison and bleed. The guys that are poisoned will be crippled from that. We won't have to worry about them. The Torture will probably get an action off against their team, unfortunately, but we should have a medkit to deal with that burn. Most of these guys won't be able to actually hurt our guys up here. Yeah, that Torture. This is one of the coolest units in the game. A grappling hook flamethrower guy. Look at that. Look at how cool this guy is. I wish my units could be this cool. I can only wish that our units are this cool.
Crooked schemes to gain the advantage.
Alright, let's go kill off that Torture next
All
round.
the same flames
I'm
of
gonna need
torment.
to medkit you up. The big burn kick. Ouch. Not looking too hot. Somebody around here should have a medkit for you. Shinobi, maybe? Does nobody here have a medkit? Somebody here's gotta have a medkit, right? Oh my goodness, we have one medkit on Slightly DM, but unfortunately these guys are kind of in the way, so I can't reach them right now. I could opt to run the Overwatch. They'll probably have like around a 30 to 40% chance to hit us. And then if I can tag this guy with one more hit, he should go down. Or I could just, and I wish I could kill off that Advent Trooper so we could just be done with combat this round. That would have been nice. Alright, where's my medic guy? We're gonna take our Fusel and bring them down to here. Lightly DM, Bloody Tear needs that med kit. Let's get you down here so you can get healed up. There we go. Teamwork and friendship. Makes all the missions come true. There we go. Unfortunately, I can't finish off that trooper this round, but next round I can get them, though.
We'll be fine. Let's party.
I'm gonna reposition Rick so that he's got cover facing these guys. Give Rick a quick reload. Basti over here can't really do much. I'm gonna probably just have Basti come back around here so he doesn't get shot at, and then next round he can either pop out with the flamethrower or do something else. This guy will actually just die from the bleed, so I don't have to worry about him at all. But I would like to see if he drops any loot, so why don't we just shoot him if we can? Nice shot. And he did drop some loot,
Eventually,
so that's excellent.
I too will fall.
We're also going to stand you right
Yes.
next to the snake. If the snake dies and drops loot, we don't have to spend an extra movement action to get it. Everyone else just come down to here. And just do a little bit of repositioning. just a little bit of repositioning right
Where
now.
are we going?
I'm gonna actually keep your head down so they
We
don't
have
get a
not
chance to
come
shoot
this
at
far
you.
just to lose you here.
This person with the flamethrower, I'm gonna start bringing you up a little bit closer also. Get ready to come around this edge maybe and get them if no one else can somehow kill them. I'm pretty sure our team should be able to handle this with like just one or two people though. I wish our bleed and poison ticks did a little bit more damage. It would be really nice to just have them do 4 damage ticks instead of just 2 damage ticks. Shot from that guy, not gonna connect. We are hunkered down. We should be able to finish this mission up right now with Rick over here. Beautiful work. Alright, all enemies on the map should be dead. Let's wait one more round before we start dashing in, although I kind of need to start dashing in. I'm pretty certain we've killed most of the enemies on the map at this point. I'm fairly certain about it. We do need to wait one more round to confirm that though, so I wanted to like just kind of position in ways that won't put us in extreme risk if I did somehow miss like two groups, a group of 2 enemies or something. Most of the crates are back in this direction, back inside of here.
I'll comply.
Location confirmed.
Okay, yeah, we should be able to reach most of this stuff, no problems. Yeah, just wait one more round to make sure that there's nothing
I
out
saw
there.
the same flames of
Yep. If it doesn't say alien activity, then it is safe. Get everyone down here and grab that remaining loot. Alright, so 1 for you. 1 for you. You can go home since there's not enough crates around for everyone to
I'm on
grab.
it.
1 for you. 1 for
I am on my way.
And am I missing anything? I think I'm missing 1 more crate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go.
Go, go, go!
Alright, everyone has a crate. Let's get ready to go home with all of these.
I'll hold on to it for the time being.
And it will just be a nice little quick
got it.
session of grabbing all the crates over here.
I'll hold on to it for the time being.
And there we go. All 5 crates are ours. Let's have the squad start running back home. The evac zone is quite far. They make these evac zones really far away, so you can't try to like stealth these missions or anything like that.
Phew, that's a lot of exercise.
But let's make it back home here. Oh my
Quick,
goodness,
40.
that
We can
evac
run
is
out
so
of the
far
simulated world
away.
before it reboots.
On the move.
I wonder if we'll have to fight reinforcements even though we finished with so much time left on the clock. I think we'll be fine.
Totes maloots, dog.
Solid copy.
Alright, everybody start running
Move
back.
out!
Moving out.
There's actually a hole in this wall, so we
I
can just jump
see.
right through that. Yeah, I think we'll make it out.
Always
You
be
can
my
move
turn.
pretty fast. I kept most of our sniper units pretty far in the back. The safety of this spot over here. With our low mobility units.
Moving out.
Here we go.
Getting it done.
Let's go.
My way or the highway.
Alright, one more round and then we should be able to leave.
Let's move.
2 more rounds.
Understood.
Reinforcements will be coming very soon. If this is your first time playing, this is not the timer to end the mission, but rather the timer before Doom reinforcements arrive.
Yes.
Long War kind of did away with the hard timers. You're very, very rarely going to actually be encountering a hard timer. Most of it is just a timer where Doom reinforcements start dropping on top of you and start killing you really hard unless you really double down and just escape within the next 1 or 2 rounds.
Mission accomplished.
I'm a huge fan of that. It always sucks when you're like 1 turn from the evac. This instead leaves you like some options to escape, even if you're just a little bit short on time. It feels a lot nicer too. It feels like more realistic that it illustrates what happens when the timer is gone, right? There's Advent interceptors coming in, a lot of reinforcements are just dropping down and just like overwhelming your squad. But you can still make it out if you manage to fight your way out. I'm a huge fan of that little change in mechanics. Some people might not like it when they're not used to that being like the soft timer. Alright then, welcome back you guys. Yeah, did excellently. Just a little bit of damage on Bloodied here, and
I
that's
told
about
the
it.
troops to expect the best,
Probably
and
gonna
that's
be
what you've
taking
shown
2 weeks off from that little bit of damage. Oh, not even. Good. That's nice to see. You're only out for 1 week. Let's get these promotions over here. Gone through them already, and so I'll try to just go through these really quickly here. Alright, we got ourselves a lot of Elerium crystals. Barely any alloys on this mission, though. Elerium crystals are the resource that you want to have a lot of at the end game, whereas alien alloys are the resource that you kind of want to have a lot of in the early game. And also in the end game, technically. I think alloys is just one of those resources where you're really strapped for at all points in the game. Especially in Beyond Legendary, with the need for building all the Requiem armors, those things cost so many alloys to build, so it's very difficult to actually build these things, at least in mass numbers. Okay then, let's see. We're still in the middle of looking for our next liberation mission, so that's still going. We'll pick up that intel afterwards. Next supply drop is coming up soon. Let me check to see if the black market will have anything that we want to pick up.
Market
I
is
think
open.
we've just about picked up everything that we wanted, though. I don't think I'm super excited to use an infantry or titan class right now. At least not for this many supplies while I only have 65 with me. If we want to sell Lancer corpses, this is kind of the last call. I think I'm okay with selling Lancer corpses. We'll wait till next month and see what they heavily request.
Setting course for Mexico.
We do kind of need to start building up a count of supplies, though. We're going to be needing a lot of supplies and alloys to start building combat armor for our squad.
Another important step forward
There we
in
go,
our
the
research.
combat armor is complete.
Commander, with the Advent officer currently in cold storage, we should perform the autopsy as soon as possible.
Now, these Project BUs over here, you guys might have seen these and wondered what they are. These are to upgrade our automated robotic units. So, for example, the Shiv. This thing, whenever you do these researches, you give the Shiv like a lot of bonus stats and stuff. I don't really do this too often, so unfortunately we probably won't be making use of this. One of the main reasons is that it costs supplies to actually get these upgrades. I just really can't afford to do side supplies for units that don't gain EXP. Battle armor, mobile armor. We have a couple of options for what we want to do next. I'm thinking we just go straight into Trooper Autopsy and unlock our magnetic weapons. That way we can stay ahead of the curve on technology. Then once we hit our magnetic weapons, I will kind of take a break from just rushing equipment and just start doing some side upgrades. Maybe do some battle armor, experimental weapons, some autopsies to get side equipment, and then once we're a little bit more comfortable with our side equipment situation, and then we'll head right back into rushing for the next tier of weapons, which would be coil weapons.
Knowing that my past...
Let's start with the Trooper Autopsy then. That
I
shouldn't
must
take too
admit,
long.
Having successfully completed the operation necessary to remove the commander's
Alien debris
implant,
cleared.
I am intrigued by the possibility of examining another subject for comparative analysis.
We'll have our gremlins
Since the
start working on that
officer in
laboratory.
question will likely
We do
have
want to start getting more
expired long
scientists
before
soon.
arrival here.
A little bit
I may
behind
rely
in
on
the
a
scientist
faster,
department,
more
unfortunately.
invasive approach to removing the chip this time around.
Alright, next supply drop is coming up once more. We do not have access to any supplies though. Extract supplies, well, we make our own supplies by stealing from Advent for now. At least until we've liberated our own region. Let's get another squad ready to extract supplies from this region over here. Bit of lag on our computer right now. Alright, for this squad, I'm thinking we bring along, what is this? Extract supplies. We do start off with concealment. I think we continue training up our Hell Knight, maybe. I want to give that Hell Knight a bit more EXP right now. Yeah, let's train up that Hell Knight. Maybe we will train up our Arsonist. Let's take the Geneva and the Arsonist together. Let's see if they can even bond. That would be nice if they could. They can't bond just yet, but I am planning on having them both on the same team, so eventually I'd like them to bond together. We'll do that again. Geneva and Arsonist, we're gonna have our Hell Knight on this mission. maybe 2 more units. I think we'll bring Jane Kelly along. I do want her trained up a little bit more. Jane Kelly and... I don't want to train up the combat medic. Or the shinobi. I am planning on making the shinobi into an officer. I don't need to have a phantom unit on this mission, but it wouldn't hurt to just have 1 unit that can scout anyways. We'll have you on this one. Making our weapons available. We do have access to 2 alloy swords, so one of these can go on Jane Kelly here. Excellent. Let's also switch over one of Jane Kelly's equipments to a hunting shotgun. Now, we do have the brand new Predator armors. I'm going to make use of this right now.
The named Predator armor should give our soldiers increased longevity in the field.
There we go, got ourselves a Predator armor. Let's see. Are we gonna just build a bunch of Predator armors? That's not a bad idea. We're at the point where we should start doing that. I'm definitely gonna build a Predator armor for the Hell Knight, and probably one for the Geneva. I'll start with 2 for now, and that way I can put more armors on other squads if we send other people out. This Arsonist already has 9 HP, so they really don't need more health. The Shinobi is mostly going to be in stealth, so the Shinobi also doesn't need more health. So yeah, let's build like 2 more of these, I'm thinking. One for the Hell Knight and 1 for the Geneva. I think as long as our team has at least 8 HP on their soldiers, this person's fine because they're going to be in stealth. But as long as we have like 8 HP, I think I'll be happy with the soldiers the way they are. That's just about enough to never die in one shot than most of the mid-game enemies like Advent Mechs. Particularly breaking the 7 HP barrier. The Gunner and the Advent Mechs, when they high roll, they can hit for 7. Same with the Advent Sidewinders. You can bring yourself up to 8 HP. That means you'll never die as long as you're not flanked. We do have a couple of PCSs. Most of them are depth perception that I'm saving up for a different unit. We have an unwavering stance and a speed PCS. I think if I were to put the speed PCS on someone, it would just be Jane Kelly over here. Her mobility is just 1 point below average. Let's bring that up to average. Especially because she's carrying a hunting shotgun, unlike a shinobi who's just going to be running around with the SMG. She'll have much higher mobility because of that. Right then. I'm going to leave the Geneva class a little bit open on equipment just to keep your mobility high. Same with the Arsonist. Let's get you guys out there. This should be a very easy mission for us to do. Got to 9 enemies. Got a very healthy squad here. Alright. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the, if you guys haven't actually watched Long War stuff, hopefully you guys are enjoying the gameplay experience of even the strategic layer. I find it very fun to manage multiple squads all at once, while trying to play a game of move your legions around on the map versus Advent. Next month is here.
Message for you, Commander. Patching it through to your quarters.
We're still not having our rebels gather supplies just yet. I really badly need them doing missions. I just noticed that the assassin picked up a new ability. That's kind of scary. She has the ability to see people that are in concealment now. Intense training. Increases regional advent strength and shortens facility construction time. Okay. Over here we can locate a brand new faction, our Reaper faction. I just lost a really high ranking Reaper on my stream campaign, which makes me really sad. This reminds me of it. Now, until we get some sergeants back, I won't be able to do either of these, and since I can only do one of these per month until I build a resistance ring, I'm going to just hold off on doing that for now. I'm gonna scan ahead.
Avenger plotting
Or
new
scan ahead,
course.
let's also check out the black market, see if there's anything we want to buy.
Market is open.
Advanced hair trigger and advanced suppressors. Interesting. Ooh, a Storm Rider. I didn't know you could pick up unique classes in the GT, or not, outside of the training up rookies, because I was told that you couldn't buy these, but apparently you can. So out of all the various classes that you guys have seen, there are a couple that are considered like unique classes. Back when the GTS training was available and you could just train up anything, the unique classes could only be gotten by promoting a rookie, is what I was told. Now you can apparently just buy them from the store, which is kind of neat. We'll pick one up right now. And if this guy does not have a nickname, then one of you guys in the YouTube comments can get it. Nope, this guy has a nickname. Fatal Mox. This is a very different timeline. Fatal Mox is not a skirmisher, but rather a Storm Rider. Let's go over their abilities here. So, Storm Riders are fearsome melee combatants. They possess rage-fueled psionic powers that manifest as red lightning. They can break through the toughest defense and form an impenetrable wall, all while effortlessly and graciously zapping around the battlefield. A very interesting class here. This guy's got pretty good aim and pretty good mobility. In fact, this guy's stats are overall just really good. His will suffers a little bit, so we gotta watch out for sectoid mind controls. But other than that, though, this guy's got really good stats, I would say. Now, let's start by going over some of these perks over here. The first one is Windcaller's Legacy. I think a couple of other classes use this ability. Melee attacks against targets on an adjacent tile cost only 1 action point and do not end the turn. Attacking an enemy within blue move range grants a move-only action. If using an empty secondary weapon, the move action is granted for all melee attacks. So, I guess I'll try to explain this in a language that makes a bit more sense. So, if an enemy is standing next to you, you get to chop them and take another action, so you get to chop twice, or you get to chop and move. If you attack someone within your blue movement range, so your regular walking distance, you will be given a movement action to run away. So this essentially covers the issues that melee units have, where when they run in and chop something, they have to stand in a really awkward spot. Now you can run in, chop, and run back to safety if you're within blue movement range. If you're not running a second weapon, so for example, right now this guy can run both like shields or a second sword. Second sword looks really cool, by the way. But yeah, they can run separate sets of equipment. But if they choose to run empty, then they can do a dash move, so they can take the yellow move and still be able to run back to safety. Whereas before, if they were yellow moving with equipment, they can't run back to safety. So this kind of is affected based on their equipment, but essentially they have an option to run back to safety. That's all you gotta think about it as, if it's too many words. Intercept is Overwatch for melee attackers. Essentially, if anything walks within your blue move range on the enemy turn while you are in intercept mode, you will run up to them, chop them, and run back to your original spot. Edge alignment, plus 10 aim, self-explanatory, makes them more accurate and reliable. And finally, guard. This is the same ability that some of our shield units have. Activate to guard the next incoming attack, reducing its effectiveness, can be used multiple times to guard against multiple attacks, and can be used with move-only action. So essentially, once you have a point of guard, like you get charges of guard, each charge of guard can be expended whenever you get shot at to downgrade the attack that the enemy makes. So for example, if it was going to crit, you can make it into a regular hit. If it was going to be a regular hit, you can make it a graze, and if it was going to be a graze, you can make it into a miss. And this only happens if you are going to get hit. So there's that. Yeah. Guard is here because they can equip shields, as you guys saw earlier. I love these guys. These really wacky samurai Viking type guys. Like, he can either act like a samurai with a sword if you give them a bit of customizations, that is. I think it's based on their attitude. So you can do some really cool poses with these guys. The animations for this is really cool. You can make them into a sort of buccaneer's curved sword type of guy, swishing around like a scimitar. You can make them into sort of like a samurai kind of dude, or just like a standard like longsword guy. Yeah, you can have like the samurai pose. Where's that samurai pose? There we go. Like that really cool anime, like I'm gonna draw my sword really quick and slice you in half type of pose. They can also have like kind of a Viking look to them if they're carrying the hunter's axe. Right now we don't have the hunter's axe yet, so I can't demonstrate that, but they've got some really cool poses going on. Now, in terms of abilities, I think it's easier to go through each one by a line. So let's start with the top row here. So Rampage. This is mostly focused on just direct hits with your melee attacks. Particularly, I think it's focused on critical hits. So the first perk over here is this one's mine. Mark a target, gives you 50% crit chance against them, as well as 50% defense against them. This is sort of like a dueling kind of perk. You mark a guy and you kind of decide that you want to duel this guy, and they will have significantly less chance to hit you, and you will have a significantly higher chance of just damaging them really heavily. And over here we've got Haymaker, a main hand melee attack that removes many positive effects from the enemy and deals critical electric damage. This is kind of a very loaded ability here. The return cooldown always deals a crit. Haymaker will crit even if the attack would only hit or graze normally. Crit resistance enemies such as the Chosen can be crit with this ability, however crit immune enemies cannot be crit. So the Chosen, they're not actually immune to crits, but they have like 200% crit resistance, so in order to actually get like 100% crit against them, you have to reach 300% crit chance, which is incredibly difficult. There are ways to do it, but it requires like an entire team effort to set that up. But this is one of the few units that can just automatically set your attacks into a crit. Muton counterattacks can be bypassed with this ability due to its guaranteed critical damage as long as it does not miss. With default configuration, Haymaker will remove these positive effects from the target, so Advent Shield Bearer's energy shields, this probably includes the Advent Destroyer Commando shields also, Berserker's Rage, Archon's Frenzy, as well as Advent Priest's Holy Warrior. This is actually quite an interesting effect. I'm pretty certain this also affects things like the Warlock's ability to mark a enemy unit as his Chosen. So there's lots of really interesting things you can do with Haymaker. The one that'll most likely come up most often is removing shields. I believe it even removes the shields before the damage goes through, although I need to, someone might need to correct me on that if I'm wrong. The effects are removed before the damage effect is applied. There we go. So yeah. Haymaker, very interesting utility option. Oops. Utility as well as damage option. Over here we've got Cutthroat. Your melee attacks against biological enemies ignore their armor and have a plus 15% critical chance and do plus 2 critical damage. Alright. The plus 2 critical damage and the armor penetration is going to combo very well with this. You can force the crits with this, allowing your Cutthroat bonus to always activate. The armor penetration is always active, and this is kind of interesting because there's a couple of really armored organic enemies out there. For example, the Gatekeeper, that counts as organic, so if you hit a Gatekeeper with this attack, you actually just penetrate all of its, like, what, 6-7 armor or something? It's a very powerful combo that you can do against certain enemies. There's, like, a group of enemies out there called Advent Custodians. They also have, like, a ton of armor. You can just cut right through all of that with Cutthroat. Dervish. Once per turn, killing an enemy reduces all your ability cooldowns by 1 turn. So far, the only 2 cooldown-based abilities that you have are Haymaker and this one's mine, but that is kind of nice. It allows you to make use of these abilities, I think, every other round, rather than every 3 rounds. Gore. Killing an enemy has a chance to panic some of the nearby organic enemies. Gives yourself a little bit of utility, so now you're no longer relegated to just dealing damage, but now you can also do things that control enemies in an area around yourself. Enrage. Become enraged for 2 turns, dealing plus 25% more melee damage and becoming immune to mental effects, but suffering a minus 5 defense penalty. 10 turn cooldown that is reduced each time this unit attacks or is targeted by enemy attacks. A very interesting ability here. So during these 2 turns, if you get attacked 5 times, or if you attack an enemy and get hit 5 times, then you can technically go enraged forever. Now, of course, getting attacked 5 times is not something you want to have happen to yourself, so probably you won't be doing that. But the idea that this is a soldier that can be immune to mental effects, so sectoids won't affect them and they can just run around doing a bunch more damage, is actually kind of neat. Finally, we have access to Windcaller's Fury. Melee attacks always cost 1 action point and do not end turn. Now, interestingly enough, because of how this works, is you get to attack twice in a round, right? So if you get to attack twice in a round, that technically means within the 2 rounds that you're enraged, you can reduce the cooldown by 4 turns already. Then all you have to do is just get shot 6 times to have enrage up all the time. Or you can make it so that the cooldown is just lowered down to a 3-turn cooldown as long as you're hitting 2 enemies every single round. Either one of those 2 options. Very interesting build. You have a bit of damage, you got a bit of abilities to cast, you have ways of getting guaranteed crits, you have ways of resetting your cooldowns. Very interesting little top row here, very straightforward. A unique take on the type of melee builds. A lot of times melee builds just focus on doing things like Whirlwind, Blade Master, all those other perks that you've seen many times before on Shinobis and other melee units. Now this middle row here apparently was like the filler row that the guy was trying to, like, I think the Zentless just ran out of ideas and it was just like, alright, I'm gonna do an Overwatch build in the middle, and he made it really, really good actually. Let's go through this. Conduit. Teleport to an allied soldier, consumes all action points, and grants one move-only action. Breaks concealment, and allows the soldier to teleport to the original tile after using intercept. So this is a very loaded perk, but essentially, you can either jump next to an ally for whatever reason, you can either use this to escape, or you can use this to position aggressively for next round. You do get a movement-only action, which works with guards, so if you're doing like some sort of like shield tank build, you do actually get a chance to jump in and tank for the team if that's what you need to do. But the important part for this build is that it works with intercept, allows the soldier to teleport to the original tile after using intercept. Why is that important, you might ask? Intercept works like this. So basically, you melee attack an enemy when they walk within your blue move range, so you'll run out and chop them and you'll run back to your starting position. However, if you do something like jumping down a cliff, you actually can't go back to your starting position and you're stuck out there in the open on the enemy turn, which can be a really, really bad thing. So this allows you to teleport back to your starting position, just in case you can't climb up the wall back to your starting position again. Covering fire over here, same as the long-range shooter type covering fire. Gives enemies an aim malice, and you get a little bit of bonus accuracy against enemies in cover, although I don't think that affects intercept very much. This is mostly just used to debuff enemies by approximately like 10 aim or so. You actually see how much of an aim malice they get. It does not say, but it lowers their accuracy a bit when you go to chop them and stuff. Sixth Sense. You are now immune to multi-target and area attacks. Now, this also makes you immune to the Purifier Explosion. This is important because if you're going to be on Overwatch, you don't get to control what you attack. So you want to make sure that you're able to actually survive any explosives that you run up to and chop. Blade Storm, that's pretty self-explanatory, and that also works well with the Overwatch chopping builds. Shadow Step. This is a very important one for the Overwatch builds. There's a lot of enemies out there that will start getting things like Close Combat Specialist that essentially allows them to shoot you when you close your distance, and you're going to die very quickly if you're intercepting a lot of enemies with that ability. So having Shadow Step allows you to bypass all of that and actually chop enemies. And I believe if enemies are on Overwatch on their turn, they will also shoot at you if you don't have Shadow Step, so you pretty much want to have that for sure. And now finally we've got Route. Now before with Intercept you could only chop one thing and then that was it. With a Route, you activate to intercept all enemy movement within your line of sight until the start of your next turn. So essentially, this is like Killzone, except instead of a cone in front of you with a gun, it is a circle around you, where every enemy that tries to move is going to get chopped. And essentially, this soldier's goal is to run into the middle of a group of enemies, activate Route, and just go to town on all of them. This build is rounded off, finally, with Grim Reaper Sprint, allows the reaction fire to crit, and adds plus 30 aim, so you're essentially getting 100% accuracy and 100%, or near 100% crit, because of that plus 50% critical chance. And yeah, that's our build. If you want to do some sort of really powerful stand in the middle of the enemy team and start chopping everything type build, this is how you would do it. A very interesting take on this type of soldier here. You just gotta watch out for mutons. Mutons can still counterattack you if you don't achieve a regular hit. So you're gonna want to either load up on a lot of crit chance, or you're gonna want to try to get like the concentration perk somewhere, if it even comes down here. I don't know if these guys can get that down here. Alright, and final perk over here is final set of perks over here is going to be the Unyielding Row, which I'm assuming is meant to be done with the shield build. Knight's Charge, an upgraded shield bash that costs 1 action and does not end the turn, can be used with dashes, and it disorients. This is quite powerful. This is like the perfect anti-sectoid tool in the early game. You'll essentially get to run up to an enemy with a double move, bash them with the shield and disorient them, and then stab them with your sword. This is quite nice for killing sectoids off, particularly sectoid abjurers, because they get really hard to kill in the early games. And this will always be relevant throughout the entire game just because disorienting a target on hit is really, really nice. We've got hard target over here. Gain 3 dodge per enemy you can see, up to a maximum of 30. As you guys can see, this is all trying to combo with this guard stuff to try to build up a bit of a defensive kind of posture where you can disorient an enemy, lower their accuracy, increase your dodge stat, and try to make it so that the enemy can only really graze you and then downgrade that graze into a miss. We've got riposte over here. Use the primary weapon to counter enemy attacks that would miss or graze or while guard is active. Passively gains 10 dodge and resist most impairing effects applied by melee attack hits. Storm Riders will attack with their sword, Vanguards will use their shotguns as improvised melee weapons. So, you've got a really powerful combo here into Sergeant rank. If there's a high priority target that you need to take care of, you run up to them with Knight's Charge, you disorient them, then you stab them again for a little bit of damage. You'll have a ton of dodge stat, and you'll be able to activate your guard or do whatever you need to do to just buff up your defenses. When they attack you, they will most likely miss or at most graze you, and then you just counterattack them with more damage. And then you can kind of just indefinitely lock down each enemy that you run up to using Knight's Charge and Riposte. A very powerful single target type of unit here, particularly when we start fighting against certain tougher enemies like Requiem enemies. Having like a tanky person that can start off with a disorient against them is quite nice. That way their reaction is kind of wasted trying to hit this guy using his riposte. We've got Protect and Serve over here. Gain a non-movement action point after using One for All and Shield Wall. So this actually combos perfectly with this. You'll run in with your Knight's Charge, disorient them. Now instead of attacking them again, what you're going to actually do is activate your Protect and Serve. You'll have your Shield Wall active, increases your dodge stat even further, and you will also have the ability to counterattack them. And since you count as cover, they'll choose not to run away from you and decide to stand next to you and probably attack you since you're right next to them. Follow that up with Concussive Blows here. Your melee critical hits disorient. Critical hits against disoriented enemies stun, and melee attacks against stunned enemies deal plus 25% more damage. So essentially you're building up the mental impairments against your enemies. First you want to disorient them. Then you want to just start critting them so you can get stuns against them, and if you manage to stun them, further critical hits will start finishing them off. Now, this build over here does not have a lot of critical hit chance built into it until you reach Coup de Gracie. I'm sorry to all the French people. I completely butchered that pronunciation. But, plus 50% aim, plus 50% crit chance, and plus 2 damage against stunned and panicking enemies. Very big bonus. It's the same amount of a bonus as this one's mine in terms of critical hit chances. And essentially what you're going to be doing with this is you're going to start off with your Knight's Charge, you disorient them. Now suddenly you have a bunch more critical hit chance. Then as you keep on hitting them, they're going to get stunned and they're going to just get mentally deteriorated really quickly, and then you start killing them with the critical hits. Very powerful combo there, and that should allow you to become a perfect single target boss lockdown type unit. Like for example, this build up here, this does damage, but if it doesn't kill the boss, you're in danger, so you have to like run away to safety. This kind of locks down the boss, so even if you don't kill the boss, it just can't do anything else afterwards. Final perk over here is going to be Shield Trauma. Make a melee attack with your shield that leaves your opponent disoriented and stunned for 1 action. Does this get a cooldown, or is this just... Oh, it's an upgrade to the Shield Bash. Interesting. Stun for 1 action and disoriented. That really is just an amazing lockdown power. Okay, so you guys have an idea of each of these builds. This is the Pure Sword damage build, this is the Overwatch Sword build, and this is the Shield Sword build. Down here, they've got some interesting abilities. We've got Paramedic, Take Under. This is a random row, of course. The Soldier has Tank as one of their abilities. Interesting. I wonder if it's worthwhile to do the tank build with this guy. We've got Guard Shift over here. Bring 'em On does increase our critical hit damage if we do want to do a critical hit build. Burial Blade and Thunderdome. Thunderdome's the interesting one here. Mark an area with a 6.67 tile radius. Until the end of your turn, killing enemies in that area refunds action points for you and your squad members. Both the attacking soldier and the attacking unit must be inside the Thunderdome in order to activate the action point refund. Allies can benefit from action point refund only once, so keep that in mind. You can only refund your actions once, but everyone on your team can do it. So if you have a team that's like really heavily melee oriented, that's like the perfect teammate for the Storm Rider here. Let me think. Since we want a build that's focused purely on killing with Thunderdome, probably the best build here will be the Rampage build. So why don't we set something up with that? Being able to refund all of our actions would be quite nice, actually. I'm going to mark all of these, and then I'll mix and match them depending on what I think is the right thing to do here. Area... Do you have to carry a shield to use this? I'm assuming you have to carry a shield. Okay. I think we'll start off with this one's mine, because we're pretty much not using the middle row stuff unless I'm taking the utility items like Sixth Sense and Shadow Step. But yeah, we definitely want to take this one's mine for that extra crit chance. Follow that up probably with Haymaker. I think we're mostly focused on just getting damage off. Most of this other stuff here is utility or defense. Cutthroat is very important. We're definitely taking that, I think. We'll take Dervish most likely just to reduce our cooldowns. I can opt to take Protect and Serve if I'm planning on taking shields, but I don't know if I actually want to have shields on this guy. I'm pretty certain I just want to run in there and kill things. I've got Gore up here. Killing an enemy has a chance to panic some of the nearby organic enemies. Over here I could switch this around with Concussive Blows. Your melee critical hits disorient. Critical hits against disoriented enemies stunned. I'm actually considering this heavily because if we set this up correctly, we can actually have this guy do a similar job to the tank guy, but by setting up our own crits, we don't actually need to use Knight's Charge, right? Like, for example, if I use Haymaker, or if I use this one's mine, I'll naturally have a lot of crit chance. Like, between this 15% and this 50%, we naturally can get 65% crit against a target that we're focusing on, and if we need to guarantee that crit, we can even activate Haymaker. Follow that up with the fact that we get Windcaller's Fury for a multi-attack. We can actually just slam a guy twice and just immediately stun them, I think. Particularly if we take Coup de Gracie here. We do lose out on Enrage if I do this, which is kind of unfortunate. I did kind of want to keep Enrage. I kind of wanted to keep Enrage. The plus 25% melee damage is actually quite interesting. It's a big boost to your damage output, that's for certain. Would I rather have Enrage or would I rather have Coup de Gracie? And yes, I know it's technically pronounced Coup de Grace, but I like making people angry. Enrage. Would I rather have more crit chance or would I rather have more damage output? We do get access to Bring 'em On. Burial Blade's also kind of interesting. Take Under. This guy has a lot of perks to like finish off enemies, interestingly enough. This guy actually has a lot of finisher perks. Perks that can really just delete an enemy unit. Actually kind of interesting. I don't really take Enrage very often, so I kind of want to see what this does. This does mean, though, that I don't get access to Concussive Blows, which I kind of did want to play with. Gore is not bad either. Let me see what the panic chance on this is. Enemies tend to move and panic by this ability, which can trigger Overwatch abilities such as Rout. Only organic enemies who had direct line of sight to the killed enemy can panic. Panic is removed if the soldier that caused panic is killed. Panic chance is equal to rank times 8% plus damage times 2% plus HP, max HP times 1%. minus enemy will, where rank equals soldier's rank, counting squaddy as rank 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we have 8 ranks, that would be 8 times 8, so that would be 64. Plus the damage, let's say we did 8 damage, I think that's a conservative estimate. That would be like 16, so 64 plus 16, that's like 80%, times max HP times 1, so let's say your max HP is like 10. You will have a 90% chance to panic, minus enemy will. I think most enemies will have, let's say 50 will. Let's assume most enemies will have around 50 will. So it's about a 50% chance to panic most enemies at max rank. At lower ranks, you'll probably have like a 20%, 25%-ish chance. It's not something that I can rely on versus concussive blows. I know I'm going to disorient something if I pick concussive blows. I think I'm definitely picking concussive blows, so the question is whether or not I want to take this perk over here for the more reliable crits. We do have a couple of ways of setting up crits ourselves already, and I think between this one's mine and Cutthroat, this guy does technically already have pretty high crit chance. Do we need to take this ability here? Being immune to mental effects is nice, but it's not really something that you can't get elsewhere. Like, for example, you can equip a Mind Shield on this guy and that'll achieve the same effect. Maybe I go for this just so we can have a fun combo going on, I think. I think it'll be fun to set up a really interesting combo where we can just start disorienting enemies and then just start beating them up with more stun chances. So essentially how this build is going to work is we start off with a Haymaker, get a disorient upon the enemy, then we'll have access to a 25% critical chance, and that 25% critical chance will be comboed over here to make that into a 40% critical chance, and then followed with this one's mine, that's 90% critical chance, and I think most swords come with 10 to 20% critical chance in the end game. So that should achieve a 100% critical hit rate. And with Windcaller's Fury, you get to slap them twice, so when you hit them twice, you get a guaranteed stun. That is pretty solid. I'm gonna go for this build, I think. And for a soldier like this, what do we do here? I'm thinking we dual wield with this guy. I don't really do dual wielding builds too often, but these can look really, really cool. The animations of this, I feel like I just have to showcase this on the YouTube channel, so let's get this guy a really cool pose here. I'm very excited to use this guy a bit. Alright guys, tell me, what's your preferred pose on this guy? Do you guys prefer him holding the sword like this? Holding it down like that? This is also a pretty cool pose here. I kind of like the suspicious one. This one looks kind of stupid because it looks like he's just holding 2 guns for some reason, but he just forgot that they weren't guns and they're actually swords. This one, he's legit holding a gun. Do you see his fingers? I think they're Oh, they fixed that! They fixed the fingers being held out like trigger fingers. Interesting. We could go intense. Very standard type of look. You want to go full edgelord and start aura farming really hard, you go with the hard luck kind of look. Happy-go-lucky, twitchy, normal, laid back. Laid back looks really casual, I kind of like that. I'm thinking we are going to go with suspicious though. I kind of like that little holding the sword in front of your face kind of look. Has that really cool edgelord looking kind of thing going on. Alright, Pradle Mox, we are going to be looking at your career with great interest. Alright, and we're gonna head back down to here.
For Sector 8, Mexico.
Oh right, was there anything that we could sell? Hold up.
Avenger
If there's anything we can sell. We need some supplies right now. We're running a little bit low on those.
Market is open.
We do have a couple of things we can sell here. The advanced suppressors sell for quite a bit, but they're also really valuable weapon mods that I kind of don't want to sell. Do I value having 70 supplies right now versus having the ability to do certain missions later on in the campaign? I think I value being able to do certain missions later on in the campaign, so I can't sell those suppressors. There will be missions in the future where I'm like barely at like 98, 97% infiltration, and the advanced suppressors are gonna really push us to that 100%. If there's even a chance of that happening, I think I would give up these 50 supplies for that opportunity. We'll sell some trooper corpses. I don't need these just yet. I haven't done any proving ground projects that can make use of these. I could start selling off a couple of sectoid corpses. I know we'll get a lot more once we start doing our HQ assault. We have a ton of Illyrium cores. Now, on our stream campaign, we had like 30 Illyrium cores, and then there was a highly requested Illyrium core day, and I just had the greatest time ever selling all of the Illyrium cores. I'm really hoping that we get the opportunity to sell these for double price. If we get that, we can really, really go to town on our economy here. One can hope. One can hope. The other option is that I just start selling those things and pick up a scientist, because I do kind of need a scientist. I think if we reach our laboratory and there's still no scientist extra, then I will start selling some stuff to pick up extra scientists to start fielding people in the laboratory there.
Setting course for the Mexican Regional Tract.
Alright, let's keep on scanning over here. Let's find our Liberation 3. I should probably start looking for a extra contact around here, which we can start doing. Yeah, I do want to start making extra contacts around here, I think. Let's make contact with this spot. Do I need the intel though? I might need the intel to boost this spot. That's the issue. We haven't really gotten a lot of intel this campaign, so I'm having a little bit of trouble finding more missions for the squad, unfortunately. But I would like to just start setting up a third region if possible. I think we will set up a third region.
Setting course for the Eastern U.S. precinct.
Let's do it. Let's set up a third region. I think it's a little bit safer than just relying on these two regions over
Attempting
here.
to establish local regional contact.
Another mission over here. A resistance data leak. We are about to get retaliated on. Let's make sure that we have a squad ready to deal with that. So retaliation missions can happen. So we saw a data tap mission earlier, but there's a different type of mission that doesn't interact with the rebels, but rather is a general type of attack. As long as your rebels are doing activities, you can think of them as slowly filling up a bucket. And as that bucket fills up, there's a higher and higher chance of Advent deciding to run a retaliation attack. Once they decide to run a retaliation attack, one of these missions will spawn, a resistance data leak. If we can stop it, we can stop the retaliation, but if we don't though, that mission will spawn and we're gonna have to do it. Unfortunately, there's not enough time to stop it, and you usually want to do your first retaliation because you get access to Den Mother. He is actually a playable character in Beyond Legendary and TED Jam. It's a very powerful, unique class, so I'd like you guys to be able to see that too.
It is intriguing, despite a thorough analysis. I have yet
Gonna
to
do our
see
officer
Advent
autopsy
officer-
next. Gonna head us into magnetic weapons. Liberation. Unfortunately, we can't do that just yet. Another 2 days. This cycle is going to have to go on for just a little bit longer, unfortunately. Let's finish making contact there and then pick up that intel down here. Have access to alien debris here, as well as a new facility. We have 26 power because I raided 2 UFOs, and we have a power relay. We probably won't be needing any new amounts of power anytime soon. What I should probably start building is training center, proving ground. I think we want a proving ground at some point. I'm gonna start on one of these.
Construction initiated.
But I'm not in a rush to finish that up just yet, so I'm gonna pick these engineers instead and throw them over here. That way we can continue getting ourselves more resources, machinery and stuff. Alright, let's finish making contact. I'll pick up the intel instead of looking for the liberation mission, because it seems like that's just hopeless right now. We're not finding it anytime soon. We do have a technical over here. Something casual. I think this is the original casual right there.
Setting course for Mexico.
Rural checkpoints has expired, that's good. Let's gear up another squad, although I do need to make sure that I have a squad for that other mission that's about to happen. Do I have a squad to do the retaliation mission? Yeah, I do. I have a lot of people. That shouldn't be an issue. For this mission, it is hack from cell. I'm gonna send in one of our dragoons here. I kind of want to send in What's an Airport again. They are tired, but if I can just get them to do a bunch of hacks, like if we get another enemy protocol hack here, that would be really, really funny, and I kind of want to do that. Alright, What's an Airport? We're gonna see if you can get yourself some more hacks around here, alright? But meanwhile... Or I could let him take a break and send in the hijacker. Probably need to let him take a break, actually. I'm gonna let him take a break. I feel like he's just getting pushed a little bit right now, and I don't want to push him too hard. We'll let him take a break, and we'll send in some lower-ranking soldiers on this mission over here. We have a couple of hackers' laptops. We definitely want to make use of these. Waiting, maybe a medkit. Go. Actually, instead of a medkit, I'm going to have you carry the RPG. Now, which units are we not sending on to that other mission? I think I won't be sending the... Gorilla, and I won't be sending the... I think I want the Storm Rider on the Retaliation mission. They should be a pretty good option for that. Maybe I'll send the Sidewinder on this one. And just one more person over here. I think for that one more person, we're gonna send in... I'm gonna send the Bounty Hunter on this one, actually. Alright, always gonna throw. Let's have you on this mission over here. Could be a very straightforward one. I'm fairly certain you guys can handle this, no problems. The snake over here is going to grab just a bit of equipment here. Flashbangs and stuff. Make sure we can deal with any sectoids that try to mind control us. Got our gorilla class over here. You've got a ceramic plating, a medkit, maybe a flashbang on this guy. And finally, I'm gonna give you... I think a medkit should be fine. Now, I don't really have a lot of access to equipment right now. I need to save up a lot of these supplies for the squad that's going on that other mission. But I do want to make sure that you guys don't die in one shot. You're going to be in stealth as the hijacker, you have Phantom, so you're going to not have any equipment on you. Shinobi is also going to be in stealth, and also the Shinobi already has 8 HP. This Gorilla also has 8 HP, so you also don't need any more equipment. I think the only thing that really needs equipment is the Sidewinder, so we're going to build some armor for Embers of Flame. Maybe I'll build some Advent Cooper armor. Which one is it? I think it's this Alien Predator armor here, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to have an extra stealth suit for our hijacker over here. Hijacker or Shinobi, either one of you guys can carry this. Probably the hijacker because his HP count's a little bit low. In terms of weaponry, I think I should be able to get away with sending you guys out without weapons equipped. It's either that or I build like a laser sword, but I don't think I have the laser sword available right now. Oh, I do have it available. Okay, that's nice. I will build maybe one laser sword. Do I need damage output on this team? We got the hand cannon guy. I think we're actually fine in terms of damage output. I'm gonna save that cash for the other squad. I think the other squad needs it a little bit more. Now, unfortunately, we don't really have enough time to send out a squad with all of this equipment. I'm gonna have to unload you guys a little bit. 1%. How much did that help it by? 3%. Okay, we're gonna have to unload a lot of equipment, actually. What we'll do is we'll start making use of these advanced suppressors. Look at that, guys. The suppressors are coming in handy right now. Oops, not bayonet. Suppressor. 94%. Okay, looking a little bit better. 95%. I think I would want extra mobility on the gorilla with the shotgun. 6%. Maybe more mobility on our bounty hunter. 97%. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. What if we just do no equipment on the entire squad? 98%? Alright, this might just be a no equipment squad. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Oh. You can talk about. Alright then. And finally, I just need to like get this up to 90. I want to get this up to 99%. At least. Usually if you're at around 99%, it should get it down to minimal. But I really want to have the double hacking things. The double hacking would be nice to have. I'm going to keep the double hacking ability on these guys. And we're going to do this mission at 98%. If that's not enough, we'll consider boosting it or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Squad green to deploy.
Alright, we got another squad over there set up. Let's go finish making contact and then start picking up our intel, because that is probably going to expire fairly soon, actually. New person recruited to this haven over here. That's excellent. Alright then, this is our next liberation mission. Unfortunately, because I decided to contact that spot, we won't be able to boost this. 13 to 15 enemies is quite a hefty amount of enemies, but we've got a very powerful squad with us. We've got our Templar, Frost Purifier, Hell Knight. I'm hoping you guys will be able to handle this. This might end up being a very bloody mission, so this will be quite exciting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode though. Till next time, thanks for watching, have a good night. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, leave a comment, it really helps out the channel, and bye-bye.